Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is time for another true crime video yet again, and today we will be talking about the mysterious case of Pepsi Paloma. Pepsi Paloma was actually born as Delia Dueñas Smith on March 11, 1966 to a Filipina mother and an American father. She was the eldest out of four siblings, and as the eldest kid, it was pretty normal for her to help her mother with her siblings from time to time. However, this role of hers would become much more consistent after her father suddenly left without warning and never returned. Now, it was no secret that Delia was a beautiful girl, and that is why at the young age of 14, she was discovered by a talent scout whom she fondly called Tita Esther. Now, she would later be managed by a guy named Ray de la Cruz. Originally, she would be given the screen name Scarlett, however, this did not really resonate with her, so Ray had the idea to include Delia to an already existing group of artists called the Soft Drink Beauties. Now, this group comprised of three other 14-year-olds named Myra Manibog, Sarcy Emanuel, and Coca-Cola Nicolas. Delia Dueñas Smith would then be known to the public as Pepsi Paloma and debut in a movie called Brown Emmanuel, where she had nude scenes at the age of 15. Now, if this happened today, this would cause a scandal and would be talked about maybe all over the world. However, this was in the 80s, and back then, minors taking on these mature roles wasn't really a big deal. It wasn't a huge issue. And from here, Pepsi's career skyrocketed. She starred in a lot of movies and had many public appearances and performances. And being in the industry that she was in, and in that specific category or genre of what she mostly appeared in, Pepsi had always been quite controversial. But what happened in June 1982 would gain national attention. Pepsi came out with the shocking allegations that she and her co-actress Guada Guarin were SA'd on set after filming an episode for the then popular sitcom School Bukol. And as if these allegations were not shocking enough, the whole nation was taken by surprise as to who the alleged perpetrators were. The popular and loved noontime TV show hosts and actors Vic Soto, Joey De Leon, and Richie DeHorsey. Now, according to Pepsi, the blouse that she was wearing was forcibly torn open by the men in one of the dressing rooms of Broadcast City where they were filming. She and Guada were then allegedly drugged and taken to room 210 of the Solo Hotel, where they were yet again taken advantage of by these three big names from the industry. Now, of course, all allegations were denied by the other party, and Vic Soto's older brother, Tito Soto, who was also an actor on set at the time, stated that it was actually the girls who initiated the interaction, asking to take photos with the three men kissing them. He then presented photos as evidence, and on the first photo, Vic Soto, his brother, is seen kissing Pepsi, and it seemed like she had no problem with it at all. However, on the second photo taken with Joey De Leon, this was the same pose, he was kissing her. She seemed a bit uncomfortable, and it seemed like she wanted to get away from him. Now, for Tito Soto and the three accused men, it was very important that if ever these allegations were taken to court, that they're not found guilty, because at the time, being found guilty of SA charges in the Philippines would result to capital punishment. Now, Tito argued that his brother Vic was way too frail and weak to overpower anyone, whether it be a man or a teenage girl like Pepsi, who claimed that she was held down and restricted by Vic, while Joey and Richie assaulted her. And of course, this was a huge scandal. But before it was even brought to court, Pepsi suddenly disappears. She just vanished. However, she was later retrieved and rescued after being taken hostage by a guy named Bienvenido Benulo Mendoza, who was actually a close accomplice or family friend of the Sotos. And even though Bienvenido was arrested and later confessed to the abduction of Pepsi Paloma, he was never charged with anything. Pepsi then reported that before she was abducted, Tito Soto visited and coerced her into signing an affidavit of desistance for her to not press charges against Vic, Joey, and Richie. And also, according to Pepsi, when Tito visited her, he had a firearm. He had a firearm with him. 3 months after this whole ordeal, on October 1982, the accused trio came out with a public apology acknowledging their error. And this is what they said. We hope that you will not allow the error we have committed against you to stand as a stumbling block to the future which we all look forward to. We therefore ask you to find it in your heart to pardon us for the wrong which we have done against you. And honestly, this to me sounds like a confession. However, Pepsi did not pursue the complaint filed by her manager Ray de la Cruz against the three men. And after all of this happened, she allegedly had an abortion before becoming addicted to substances and leaving her manager, Ray. Now, the following year, Pepsi decided to make a comeback into the industry and starred as the lead in the 1983 film The Victim. But instead of this helping her get her career and fame back, filming this movie actually took a mental toll on Pepsi, as this capitalized on her experience as an SA victim. Now, fast forward to May 31st, 1985, 2 years later, when the news of Pepsi Paloma's sudden death shocked the entire country. The 19-year-old actress was found lifeless in her apartment in an apparent suicide by hanging. And of course, there were numerous assumptions as to why she had taken her own life: financial problems, depression due to a failed career, distraught over the scandal, and an estranged relationship with her mother. However, according to her manager, her career and finances were fine as she had a lot of projects lined up and she was doing very well for herself. And in fact, despite being 19 years old, she actually had an adopted child whom she cared for. Now, a diary full of Pepsi's thoughts was allegedly discovered. However, the legitimacy of this diary was questioned, and up until today, nobody knows why Pepsi Paloma decided to basically unsubscribe from life. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have your own assumptions after hearing that story, and of course, I have mine as well. But up to this day, Vic Soto and Joey De Leon are thriving in the industry, and that noontime TV show that they were hosting back in the 80s is still up and running up to this day. And it is actually the longest running show in the country. Now, Tito Soto, Vic's brother, actually became a politician and served as the Philippines Senate President from 2018 to 2022, while Richie D. Horsey served 5 years in prison for possession of illegal substances, but was released in 2008 after Vic Soto shouldered his 120,000 peso bail. He stepped out of the limelight and later passed away in 2015 at the age of 58 due to complications from diabetes, a kidney failure, as well as a stroke. Now, all of this should have ended here. However, this unsolved mystery once again gained traction when one of the soft drink beauties, Coca-Cola Nicolas, stated in a 2024 interview that everything was a lie and that the SA complaints was a part of a gimmick initiated by their then manager Ray de la Cruz. Now, according to Coca, she and Pepsi once lived together and were extremely close. And when she asked Pepsi if the allegations were true, Pepsi allegedly said, "No. You know how Ray is. He'd do anything just to make headlines and for us to get famous." Coca also stated that Pepsi would always tell her that she was tired of living and just wanted to take a rest from everything. And I guess we'll never really know what really happened and what drove Pepsi into making that decision. She was very young, she was beautiful, she found a lot of success at the age of 19. And honestly, even I am not sure if this is true or not, especially after what Coca said in her interview earlier this year with Julius Babao. I mean, it's also possible that none of these were true. It's also possible that she was never assaulted by the three men and that this was all a gimmick planned out by their former manager. However, no one will really know for sure. And that is pretty much all the information that I have for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys on my next video.